Hello, it's Joe, and today I'm coming at you with a video about children's books. These are some of my favourite children's books that I read either as a child or as an adult. And when I say the children's books, most of them are for older children, around 10, 11, 12, as opposed to 5, 6, 7. And with them being children's books, you might be watching this as an adult thinking, well, I can't read any of these. And you'd be wrong, because honestly, some of these series I remember loving, and I really want to reread them as an adult to see if I'd still love them, and I feel like I would. I don't really think children's books should have age limits. Obviously there are adult books that are inappropriate for children, and there are books for older children that younger children might not be able to read very well, but I don't think children's books as a whole are limited to children. They're just the target audience, and I think it's more than okay for adults to read kids' books. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. First one, and you were all expecting this, like we all knew it was coming, Harry Potter. If you don't know what Harry Potter's about, I'm not going to tell you because you should know, and it's blasphemous not to know. But I just love this series with all my heart. It's my favourite book series of all time. And the first 2 or maybe 3 books in particular are really good children's books. They do get darker from the 4th book onwards, so I wouldn't really call those books children's books, but the first few are definitely for children, and they're some of the best children's books of all time. The best in my opinion. Next we have the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan, and honestly I never read these as a kid. And I've only read this one, and I read it last year as a 21-year-old man, and it was really good. It was a bit too childish for me, personally, and again, that's not me saying, oh, this book is, not for adults, because I know plenty of adults who love this series, but I can definitely recommend this for children. It's got a diverse cast of characters, one of the only books on this list, unfortunately, that does. Yeah, I've only read the first book, so I can only speak for this one, but it is really good, and I've heard the rest of the series is also amazing, so you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. If you don't know, the Percy Jackson series follows a boy named Percy, who is a demigod, the son of Poseidon, and he's sent to live at Camp Half-Blood for the summer, and a lot of stuff happens. I won't tell you much more than that, but it's honestly really, really good. Next up we have the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This one is the first one, The Magician's Nephew, and I've read this one, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and Prince Caspian, so the first 3, and I really, really liked them, but I just never continued on with the series for whatever reason. I read them when I was younger, so I don't really remember what this one was like in terms of, plot and stuff, but I do remember really enjoying it, and the Chronicles of Narnia are an iconic series. I'm sure you've all heard of them, and it's definitely worth giving the series a shot, especially if you like the films. If you like the films, then you like the books, and I think I've heard the books are even better. I can't really remember them, as I say, but yeah. Next we have the Lion Boy Trilogy by Zizu Korda. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This trilogy follows a boy named Charlie. Yeah, Charlie Ashanti, who can speak cat. And one day, Charlie's mum and dad go missing, and cats are the only friends that he can turn to. He ends up stowing away on a circus ship bound for Paris, where he meets 6 lions and goes on a grand old adventure with them. I remember loving this trilogy as a kid. I loved lions, I still love lions, and cats and big cats and all that kind of thing. I love them so much. It's a bit thicker than your typical children's book. It's about 330 pages long. So definitely for older children in terms of reading ability. But yeah, if you're after a big cat, circusy kind of adventure, this one is definitely for you. And speaking of loving cats, my next series recommendation is the Warrior Cat series by Erin Hunter. This series was everything to me at one point. There are so many books in this series, first of all, and I used to be obsessed. This book is actually the 3rd book in the series. The first one I lent out to a friend years ago and never got it back. And the second one, I do have a copy of it, but it doesn't look as good as this one, so I chose this one because I think the cover's really nice. This series follows a cat named Rusty, who is actually this cat on the front cover. He lives with his owners in a house, and the house backs onto a forest, and he feels called to the forest, and one day he goes in and he meets some wild cats, and they bring him into their clan, and he discovers that in the forest there are 4 clans, and there's this whole like culture and tradition, and there's loads of secrets. And as you can tell, this one's called Forest of Secrets, and he meets a bunch of friends and makes enemies, and it's just an amazing series. I need to reread these books at some point, but as I say, there are so many of them, I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it. But yeah, if you like cats like I do, or if your child likes cats like I do, I definitely recommend this series because it's amazing. And last but by no means least is the Deltora Quest series by Emily Rodder. So this is set in a fantasy land called Deltora, and at the start of the series, Deltora is in the grip of the evil Shadow Lord, who has taken over and enslaved the people. The only hope in defeating the Shadow Lord, however, is the magical Belt of Deltora. The Belt of Deltora has 7 gems in it, however it was stolen and the gems were scattered throughout the land, and so it's up to our hero Leaf to go around Deltora and find them all. And honestly, this series is so good. I love it so much. So there's this series, the first Deltora Quest series, and then there's like 2 other series in the same world, if you know what I mean. And all 3 series are amazing. The characters are great, the story is amazing. The world is so like well developed in my opinion. And again, I haven't read this since I was a child, but I remember loving it so much. And if you're after like a quick children's read, this is literally like 130 pages long, so it's so quick, and it has like big writing and stuff. So yeah, I think if you're after a middle grade fantasy series and you're stuck on what to read, I would definitely pick this one up because it's so good. So those are all the children's book series that I have to recommend today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're at least curious about some of those series if you haven't read them. If you're an adult watching this, I definitely recommend trying children's books because they're so easy to read and so generally light-hearted, and it just makes for a quick and easy read. If you're a parent watching this, looking to get some recommendations for books for your children to read, obviously I recommend them all, like they're so good. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you think you like more of my videos, subscribe below. All my social media links are in the description. And I hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.